I go by Kid L. My real name is Lawrence, but I was born in Warren, Michigan, and my parents are from Iraq. Yeah, I did kind of understand what being Chaldean was growing up because all of my friends were pretty much Chaldean, and we kind of did stand out in school a little bit because we just looked at Middle Easterns were just a kind of a different look for people. They didn't know what it was. What is Chaldean? Are you Arabic? Are you Iraqi? And we had to explain what Chaldean was, and that was kind of like the biggest kind of hurdle, I guess, of growing up being Chaldean and just not knowing what it was exactly and explaining it to people all the time. I still have a lot to learn about what being Chaldean is, but I did learn about the culture a lot, and I learned about the closeness of the families and the ritualistic aspects and just the togetherness that I think the culture brings with the people that are in their family and the people that they care about. The closeness of the Chaldean culture with their families is, like I said, it's something I've never seen with any of my friends. My friends don't talk about having 30 to 40 cousins and how everybody's always together all the time. And some of them are best cousins are best friends with each other. When I grew up and I told my friends that my cousins were my best friends, they didn't understand that. They would be like, your cousins are your cousins. They can't be your friends. Like, no, they are my friends. That's how close we are. I knew from a young age I was going to be in the entertainment industry 1,000%. I just knew that was 100%. That's the goal for me. Like, I'm going to be in the entertainment industry one way or the other. It's going to be film production, being an editor, being an actor. I was going to be a part of the film industry and the entertainment industry somehow. Or what inspired me to be a part of the entertainment industry was that it was the only thing I was good at, which was creating stuff. So when I used to take my mom's video camera and mess around and shoot stuff with it, I would show it to my family, and my family would encourage me to keep making these videos and keep working with that video camera because it's going to take me somewhere. So just that creativeness, exploring my creativeness and people supporting me was why I moved forward with it. I used to take my mom's video camera and I used to shoot skits with my cousins and my brothers. And we would just shoot skits like all day. That's like the most fun we would have together, shooting skits and just coming up with ideas and just shooting them. And then eventually I learned how to edit them. I used to edit them on a VHS player, like one VHS player, and edit it like that. But then computers came along and they were more accessible, and I was able to edit on the computer. So it was like just a whole new world for me, and it's something I just loved doing at that point. My reaction to seeing my family watch my skits and seeing them support me, it was like an adrenaline rush, and it was something that made me feel gratified, and like it made me want to continue shooting productions and keep making skits. We used to get together at my grandma's house on the holidays, and I used to just put in a skit that me and my cousins had filmed and show it to all of my aunties and uncles and cousins, and everybody would just be laughing the whole way through all of the skits that we would make, and that really motivated me to continue to just keep shooting skits. So my transition from going from being an amateur to a professional videographer was kind of by accident. I just kept upgrading my video cameras, and eventually people got noticed around me that I was shooting skits and stuff, and somebody asked me to shoot a music video for them. He said, hey, you have a video camera, you might as well shoot a music video and make some money. So I started shooting music videos for local artists. One of the artists that I actually used to shoot for, he's now 2 Chainz's main producer. So growing up, I actually worked with a lot of underground artists that actually now today are successful. I have a friend that I used to work with that now works for Netflix. I have friends that are just heavily involved in the entertainment industry. So that kind of motivated me to continue shooting professional productions because I knew I could get to that level as well. All of the work that I've done, from 2012 to 2017 led me to where I'm at now. In 2017, I shot a music video for an artist named Sada Baby, and the city recognized it, and I gained 1,000 followers on Instagram overnight. Just from shooting that one music video. Then I continued to shoot music videos for local artists and major artists in Detroit. So my name just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I accumulated a following slowly after that. Then I started adding my childhood, kind of intuition and started making skits again. So I started making skits and posting them on Instagram, and they were high reciprocation from them. People were laughing and loving the skits I was making. So I was shooting music videos, I was shooting skits, and I was also just networking heavily in the Detroit scene. That led me to the point of doing music reviews because I was so involved in hip hop and the Detroit music scene. I started realizing that a lot of people didn't know how to make music. So I started telling people if their music was good or bad. And people loved how I was doing it because it was just brutal honesty and how I would tell people that their music wasn't good or if their music was good. And I actually had the opportunity to give exposure to some artists that actually have careers now because of the music reviews that I did for them. I popped off a lot of artists because of the music reviews that I was doing. That led me to the point where I started doing interviews. So there's a producer from Detroit. His name is Helava, and he's mostly known for his song First Day Out with an artist named T Grizzly. He came on my podcast one day to review music with me, but then I started interviewing him after the podcast was over. That interview's reciprocation was so high that I just continued to do interviews with artists from Detroit. And because I had already built a substantial network of people that trust me in the community, I had access to everybody. Everybody knew me and everybody liked me to the point where they wanted to come do an interview with me. They wouldn't go do it with people who they didn't know. And that's when I started learning more about the Detroit culture, because the Detroit culture is just like our community as well as the closeness. People in Detroit don't like to work with people they don't know or that aren't really involved in what they're doing. So I was heavily involved in it, and I already had built that network for people to trust me. And that's why I think the podcast is doing so well right now, is because we're getting people that trust me on here and they're comfortable speaking to me. So my podcast is called the Kid L Podcast. We started it 2 years ago. It's accumulated over 10 million views accumulated from Instagram to TikTok to YouTube. Collectively, we've accumulated over 10 million views. We've given massive exposure to artists that haven't been heard yet. We've helped restore some careers. We've helped showcase some talent that already exists here. And we've had artists that are already established on here too, which helps cross-promote both us and their artistry as well. So we're ranked one of the top podcasts in Michigan right now, and in Detroit we're ranked highly one of the most viewed podcasts in Detroit right now as well. Apparently I'm famous in Detroit, which I didn't know that until I started going to Detroit. And I hate to say famous, but I mean it's kind of true, because when people start stopping their cars and waving you down, and when people start I go to an event and I'll just have people swarm coming up to me, talking to me, wanting a picture with me and all that stuff. So I'm always like, what is this? I don't understand what this is. And I've had multiple people tell me, like, you realize in Detroit you're like a local celebrity here. And I'm still not used to it, and I still don't believe it sometimes. But when I go out, literally, I'm getting recognized every single place I go. And I think because I do stand out, I'm Chaldean, and, a majority of artists and stuff are African-American or Latino. And so it's like I stand out completely. It's like, who is this guy? So they give me a first, like who is this guy? He's doing a lot. And then they get to know me, and they start to like my personality, and they like the work that I've accomplished. So those relationships are very easy to build, and it's like kind of just wild to go through Detroit, just knowing everybody's recognizing you all the time. So some misconceptions about what's happening is that, first of all, a lot of people would call me a culture vulture. When I first started implementing myself into the scene, they would call me a culture vulture because I'm not from Detroit, that I shouldn't be able to benefit off of Detroit in any type of a way, whether it's the entertainment industry, monetarily, or anything like that. And my argument was always, first of all, I love the hip-hop culture. I love the Detroit culture. But most importantly, I want to be an entertainer. What's the closest place to the entertainment scene in Michigan? Detroit. That's the headquarters of where you're going to find all the entertainment, right? So if you want to be an entertainer in Los Angeles, in California, you're going to go to Los Angeles. You're not going to go to, I don't know, San Diego or something like that. You're going to go to the heart of it, which is Los Angeles. Same thing with Detroit. So a lot of misconceptions on my end where people were thinking, oh, this guy's just here to take from us. And then through a lot of trial and tribulations, I proven myself over and over and over again that I'm here to stay, and I'm here to benefit everybody around me that's really serious about being a part of the entertainment industry. And once people know that you're serious about it, and once people know that you're committed, then they put those shields down. They put down their guard and say, yeah, you know what, you're welcome here. Come work, let's work. We want to be a part of this. I got to present an award at the Charles H. Wright Museum. The event was about Black filmmakers and African-American filmmakers creating content in the entertainment industry in Detroit. and they're trying to build like a Hollywood type vibe in Detroit, because Detroit kind of does deserve that. There's a lot of independent films being made, a lot of music being made, a lot of entertainment concepts being made in Detroit. So they wanted to showcase that at this award ceremony, and I had the honor of presenting an award at the award ceremony. Honestly, I attribute my success to the people that gave me my platform. In particular, an artist named Sada Baby. I really feel like he gave me the vouch in the city that I needed, because again, in Detroit, if people aren't familiar with you, you know, they're not going to feel comfortable with you working and moving around and trying to become something over here without them knowing who you are. And the artist Sada Baby really helped me, because he said, this guy's good. This guy's here, and he's here for the right reasons. And that matters in Detroit. I think the thing that stands out about me being Chaldean and in working in the Detroit community and the hip hop culture is that I'm a different perspective. I'm a fresh eye. So basically, I look at things in a way that's outside of the community. So when I would implement my ideas and thoughts to people in the community, it was a new take. Because I think when you're involved in something so much, whatever culture you're involved in, whatever community you're involved in, when you're too embedded in it, sometimes you don't think about what's actually going on. So when you hear somebody outside of the community and outside of the culture speak about the culture, it's a fresh new perspective, and people appreciate that. I plan to expand by creating more productions, and whatever culture accepts them is fine with me, because I want to be globally accepted. I don't want it to be limited to any type of culture or anything like that. Me and Nick from High Low Visuals have a whole plan set out to start more podcasts and more productions, and it's going to be more welcoming to different types of demographics. So right now our podcast is mainly hip hop demographic, but we want to expand to even doing something where it's just primarily a female perspective, like a show for just female perspective, or a dating show, or a show about documenting what's going on in Detroit and stuff like that. So me and Nick from High Low Visuals are really planning on just creating as many productions as possible, and whatever demographic accepts it is fine by us. So nothing in particular as far as considering a certain demographic. The only encouraging advice I can give is to stick to your guns. Whatever you find passion in life, go after that. And a lot of people are going to tell you to go in this direction and go in that direction, but you're going to know what direction to go into if you just take the time to pay attention to yourself for a moment. You don't want to throw yourself around here or there trying to figure out what to do because of what other people are saying. You need to do what you want to do because it's in you. And that's the only advice I can really give to people.